let's talk about this shit. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Don't get it misconstrued now. Let's talk about what we talking about. Let's do the knowledge. Go around the room, see what's popping. Let's get some. There you go. Get a landmark up in there. Get some. Right. Look at this here. Look at all of that. What is actually going on? So I just say this the pink series now. That's we're gonna make this the pink series right now. What we're gonna do? Push this over here like this. We're gonna turn this around like that. You can almost see the screen. That is a beautiful thing. Okay, we are in time. We in our time. We in our time. The spell has been broken, and right knowledge through sound reasoning, the Wabo has come, and it's only been able to transform us, and only it has been able to transform us from a lowly state to children of the Most High. Only it has linked us with our real selves and given us back our identity and a purpose. And now the devil and his hosts, time, have expired. Our time as Nuwabians, Tamarians, have come to rule first. We learn to rule our fears, our doubts, our insecurities, and then we learn to rule ourselves, to rule others who suffer from the same prejudices. This is our time to become what we were. You can go up a little further and go all the way up. All the way up. All the way up. Introduction to the readings. This sacred tablet of Tamaray is an emotional gift of pouring out of the soul and the spirit of Nature. Authority Altumbre, inspired from the old Book of Light, but raised to a higher level to relate to the stress that Earthlings was putting him through. So he sat and began to call out the ancient ones from their spiritual assistance. And miraculously, the tables began to turn, things in his favor. Therefore, he felt that this little tablet would be a salvation for those spiritual children who are part of the Nuwabian family. So we do have children that are spiritual in the Nuwabic family. Okay. Each of the supplications can be read at any time or at any place, or even better, memorized, and with the Nuwabic rhythmically recited or chanted in tones to heighten the transfer of the power from the ancient ones. Sit back and put yourself inside these words. Let them be a part of you. Let them be your emotions. Let them be your concerns. Sit with your family or with your friends and read together out loud. Hope that your children, through your example, will also seek to memorize and instill these spiritual requests in their hearts. We are in our time. The spell has been broken, and right knowledge through sound right reasoning, Nuwabu has come, and only it has been able to transform us from a lowly state, the children of the Most High. Only it has linked us with our real selves and given us back our identity and a purpose. And now that the devil and his hosts, time has expired, our time as Nuwabian Tamarayans have come to rule. First, we learn to rule our fears. First, we learn to rule our doubts. First, we learn to rule our insecurities. With our fears, we would go into any plus lesson other than the norm of the lessons that was given by the schooling system. Fear was given to us while we were even in the womb as we detect the outside of this new world, as we prepare ourselves now for the next journey to die and to be born again, to die from the programming of fear, to die for the lies, from the lies that's been told to us. So as we move and groove, we start off by saying a prayer. It says, Abdul Kul Tafulat Wabazan Amma Farujan Shir El Kulun. Begin all prayers and thinking as a part of the all. Abdul Kul Tafulat Wabazan Amma Farujan Shir El Kulun. Abdur Kul Tafulat Wabazun Amma Farujan Shir El Kulun. Abdur Kul Tafulatat Wabazan Amma Farujan Shir El Kulun. So we go down to begin all prayers and thinking as part of the all. Abdul Kul Tafulatat Walbazun Amma Farujun Shir El Kulun. Begin all prayers and thinking as part of the all. Istabhal Wahid. Istabhal, supplication. Wahid, one. Istabal, supplication. Wahid, supplication, one. Ya, Nataru, Amma, Anni, Galubak, Tawud, Alud, Za'ur, Galubuk, Shafun, Madun, Tamare, Anni, Hadar, Hassa, Amina, Farujan, Atud, Lekul, Khul, Shil, Shahusali, Alwuzat, Hatugat, Wa Arudat, the El Kulum. Amma Anni Zaur Al Had Shil Shafunak, Dakhat, Wahagum, Muhtafahum, Manun, Bamun, El Azumis, Shil Haza, Galub, Gadush, Madun, Shil Atlan, Zahthar, En Fil El Garub, Anni Baruf, Anniya, Farujun, Shil Azum, Garud. O guardians, as I, your most humble child. Visit your most sacred city, Tamore. I come down as an empty vessel, shedding all my personal O God, as the evening consumes the afternoon and the night consumes the evening, the great period of time that I spent at this most sacred and holy land, Tamarian, Atlantis, rising again. I ask you to make me strong and to make me care. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. I am here. So these things that we are writing, these things that we are reading now, and these things that we're putting in our book is a hard copy to write down, to print down in our own language. These are the things that I'm giving. I am the SP to the ARK. I am the SP to the ARK. I'm the SP to the ARK, giving you a brand new way, giving you a spark. I cannot carry your weight. You're here for a reason. You must find your reason. I am just something extra. I am extra on earth, giving you things and sharing things that's actually yours. Actually, it was at this time that you would hear this and you would make manifest and correct the errors of your way. We don't live in error, we live in truth. They live in error. That's why they speak in error, because they know and they must say the truth that you have not been able to stop and listen because you're programmed to lead, but you're going in a time warp. You're leading yourself into something that's none of your beeswax. You are to be busy as a bee, but busy in business for the queen, your empress. That is who? Your creator. Who created you? Your mother. Me, out, her. Mother. Me, M. E. Out, ot, out. Her, her, her. Here, here, her. Here, hier. All of these are relating to who you are, where you came from. Your aunt is only ain't. You ain't, that ain't your mother. You didn't come out of her. There's an order to her existence, and it goes and it explains, but we don't have the facts of being who we are, so we can't interpret it in our own level of purpose, our own reason for being. We interpret it as those who taught us to interpret it their way. They cannot go outside their box because it doesn't compute. You cannot conform them of raising their frequency because it's not in them to do that. They are here to do what they do, and they go with emotions. We go with intellect. So as you take time to see, as you take time to real envision, you will see this is the next. When I came here, and for those who took record, those in secret and sacred who took record, I had told you that the programming that you was in, that I refused to step into. So I took the challenge of going in the same body that I've used for the last couple of generations. And with this, in fact, we would say for the last 9 generations. And with this, in fact, right? The body was burnt out. The knowledge of longevity was programmed in the programming center that stems on a micro level, things that you can't see, the binary code of each individual was done properly. But to activate accordingly, it was transmitted not verbally, but mentally through the organ of the brain, oscillating waves. I go like this of the motion of spinning out, not just keep going round and round in thought, but actually spinning off. Not keep going around and round in thought, but spinning off, which makes what they call a six. A six coming in and spinning out, pulling in, absorbing through what they call portals, right? They call them portals, or they call them chakras, right? They call it chakras for the Sha. Sha is like the will. It's like saying CHI, she, or prana, or they say amasta, the energy within. You see, prana, she, namasta. Then they got other words to say the energy, right? Nafs, N-A-F, not Nas as a group of people, but Nafs that was in. And from the Nafs, N-A-F, they make that collection of energy like chi or prana, Navs, and then they put F-A-N for Navs, right? Which is fan. And the fan base is the energy of people that collectively support this hub, which they now call a star, because it has collected energies around it. And that's what they call the light. The light attracts. So the light in men attracts women because they are attracted to the light because of the agreement that they had with that created them, their caretakers, that they would actually give them a vessel, which now we compute or was taught that, which is this as a mutation, which they call a son, which is a double word. Like Quran is a double word. The sun is the double word because it was the sun, it was the light, or Shamsa. Sham and Sam. Sham is Sha. Sha is the sound of she. So it all relates to the tone, articulation of sound, and how this tone is now used to manipulate these energies individually, put them collectively, right, through manipulation and what they call control. Control is the continual role or continual rule of those who have come together. And the way they do it now is they cooperate. When they in cooperation, that means co, which is together, right? Like a company together, coexist, right? Also, right? Right? And op is operation. So co and op is opposing. See, opposing and then action. You see, or shun, opposing and shun. Shun means don't do it. SHUN. So everything that is said, it is said in a way to deter those from getting in their rightful order, their purpose, pure position, purpose, pure position, your status. State this to us. You're the teacher. You're a high priest. You're a healer. You're a scientist. You're an alchemist. You're an astrologist. See, you are that love. Your vibration. You from a higher frequency, hovering overseeing, like Earth Patrol. That's how we rock it like that. So when you get to doing these things and you start to getting down with the get down, somebody explaining something to you, and you have thoughts of how it should be, how he should do it. He should do it your way, and this is, or he should do it my way. Now I do it my way. You see, you do it your way and your explanation, because this is the level that the people that've been here a while and those who got touched. The reason you didn't come down here as a child, you're still a child. You're still a child. That's the only reason they are a child of God. You see, that's the only reason we left it like that and didn't push that word and really go into the word and explain to what it is, because you're still under the influence of that spell, right? And we use that spell as child. You see, so we're gonna break that. Then that word, when someone acting like a child, that is considered for us to be a mental illness, a growing process, a mental illness. You see, it depends on how long you had these symptoms of being childish, doing things that's not attentive, your focus, doing things that's disruptive, not progressing, not teaching, not nourishing, not shining. That's what we're talking about the sun. The sun was to shine your light, right? But the also sun was the new suns, right? That now we're going again to speed up the process. This is my part. That's the spark. See, you was evolving, and you was evolving at a rapid pace. Those people that came is evolving. Everybody's evolving, and some people is cheating. You see, so they think they cheating to win, but they cheating because they've been programmed to burn out. They're not going to have longevity. That's why they know. People know. They know what they're doing. They know they're not going to have longevity. So that's that. So now we getting ready to go. We got a lot of things going. We got a whole new language. People talking about the language. We explained to you about the tones, the language. It's been created, and the reason why people don't really know it, because they think that it was created by someone. It was created by the collective of our greatness, your greatness, as far as your 100, your input towards you continuating as a creator, not God. See, now we're gonna start talking about why Allah should not be called God, and why God should not be called Allah, and why any other deity call them by their name. We'll explain what happened. That's not a problem. It's not, and there's never a problem Only time the problem, people want to take your identity. People want to do things and they really don't know what they're doing. So now we start to go and we start to get into the bag. And that's that mental. And we use the color right now, right, to show different things. We did the womb and that darkness. Because that's what the thing that people got on what they call a fez. You see? This here is a bag. And the bag represents for Gabriel. You see? The bag, B-A-G is G-A-B. It's Gabe or Gabby. Gabby's a talker. Gabby is by different pronunciations. Some people say Jibril, and they say the color green. But this right here represent the ushering, that the birth canal that sits in between them two spears, as they call legs. You see, and this is the attraction. You see, that brings you to what they call pink. That shows you that pink is in the red family, and red represents the blood after it goes into oxidation. You see, and before that, it's blue. You see, and this blue represents the force and continuation of the life force, and that is put on soldiers. And then the gray is put on soldiers, and this is gray represents the G race. You see, and the G is the seventh symbol placed in the what they call alphabets, the symbols of the alphabets. Alphabet is alpha, like aleph, which is one. Alpha is Greek, which is one. And Bayeth, right, is actually the word for what they call the which is the sound, the vibration of the planets, right? And it's also the name of the planet, right, of what they call the womb man. Each woman is a She's a manifestation of the planets. She is a universe. They call her Earth. And it's what all this represents. The pink, the green represents the chlorophyll, which is a manifestation of the etheric presence, which you call energy, right? And the energy is is ER, which is for which is fire. The fire represents two forces, right? The destructive force, right? If it's not dealt with, anything out of order, anything not managed will go out of order. So, but fire is the element, right, for destruction, right? At the same time, it can build, it can clear way, so something else can take its place, because that's what we call time, and continue it with space, and wait to be detected. So now we get into areas of the spell. The spell was ignorance, and ignorance was not you being ill or illiterate. Ignorance was ignoring the many ways where you can obtain this spark, this information. So now you got through time, patience, and hard works by, they call them saints, they call them brothers, they call them sisters, right? But we're narrowing down all the names so we can come in with our own language. And this is what I'm gonna help with this right now. This is where we get this stuff right now. So we coming out, we doing what we doing, we eating off they call the plate of righteousness. We going with the sahuf, and this branch right there, right, is the oak tree, right, and it represents the two tribes, right, and the two covenants that we had gave. And the we that I'm speaking about is the other side that left his or its duplication, what we call ourselves. The it force, actually. But angelic beings, we're called Elohim, we're called Ansarullah. We was the first ones that brought back Islam in its purity and collected the facts and information and walked the streets and taught. We was the high priest. We was the what we would say the healers. Now they coming up with shaman and they going back and this and that. But we was out there on the trains with you when you was going to work. We was giving you things to help. We was giving you oils because the vibrations of oils, will erase things that you can't see that's there. Spirits. They call them spirits. We're going to go about spirits. Why we don't call it spirits. It's just a lot of things that's happening now. Some people say I'm late. And what would that mean? What does late mean? Who brought that word in late? We are, we are the creators of time. Time don't exist outside this realm right here. This little cutoff piece right here that's measured by nanometers with the lights and different frequencies of energy that's monitored and gave the ability to measure so they can create certain things that would benefit us traveling through. And the way thought and the way people think from the brain and how it's connected and how the systems work is it can never be hacked. You can't hack the system. See, this is something that it's going on regardless. Some people having a great day, some people's not. But we're teaching you, right, because you're part of who we are, right? And in as many ways you could be connected, right, to this world, BHOP, that we call it, and be hub, be here, be have, be heaven. All this is connected to the peace and tranquility that we share. And we're doing this not only as one shot deal, which is me, but we're doing this in everybody that is connected, what we call a familiar spirit, right? Like I said, we don't use the word spirit, but we just say familiar, or family, familia, from Walia, Wali, from Ali, Ali from Haiti, and we just putting everything together. And you see that we are who we are, globally. My name is America's Haile Selassie. From that bloodline that we created, which is called Judah. You see, and Judah is the same thing as Yahuda, and Yahuda, right, is guide. You see, and this guide is the word that they call God or good, because they couldn't articulate the tones that we spoke, nor did they recognize through the symbols that we wrote how we articulate, because we were articulating not from the inside, but before the inside, to the inside, to the vibration of the tones, which is actually like serenading facts. So every speaker, right, is an actor, because they're acting out exactly what they want. They're pointing distractions as they speak. So now they got you looking at the hand, they got you listening. So now your defense of really just focus and listen, because now you're doing that. So they make certain motions, they do certain things, they may get you here, then they take you here. They may say it here, you hear it, then you got you here. So it's a song. It's like a roller coaster. So they consider to be wise. People are considered to be wise because that's considered to be wisdom. Wise, dome thinking, dome being brain being activated through what they call short-term memory. That they spit out, that they call will, that they retain for their purpose. So you have a certain amount of information, informed action that you have to choose from. That's what the more you intake, the more you can navigate, you see, and take time out for planning, take time out for managing your time, your thinking, your ability, your strategy, So when you don't have rituals, that means you're not going over the rights, right, that make you right, that you have written down, that's written, somebody writes, that you read by sight, right, R-I-T-E, right, that makes things go right instead of wrong. If you don't do all these right checks that you need, right, then you'll be wrong. So if you don't know the law and it's an establishment that is ruled by law, and you don't know the law, then what happens? You outside the law. So you don't know the ramifications of what to do. So you spent around. And that's how I felt for a long time. Spent around. But I was only spent around to find out when you lost and find out the different ways you can get back. So the many times I did get lost, the many times I was misconstrued, the many times people lied, the many times I knew that if they did this, it would have been a pass off, it would have been a touchdown, it would have been a interception, different strategies that I had if people was to continue in that way, that manner, that with the purpose and reason that they would be able to do what they need to do. So what was the plan? The plan was written 20, 30 years ago. So what happened was it got ticked off here. This is the plan, straight. So when a person get geared off and the plan is straight and he tears off over a period of time, they move away from here. So now I'm going to use this with the thought aligning up with time aligning up with purpose and reason. And that triad, now we're using the triad. Broadcasting, intellect, right? Proven intellect that should have been used when you was your dad. And if it was used when you was your dad, it should have been used when you was your mom. And when you knew at the same time that you was your dad and your mom and this other person that was being refined, knowing that the word refined and purification was the word muklasina. That word muklasina would take you to a certain type of purification, a certain type of foundation. This foundation would make you strong. This foundation was based on the number 5. And this is why we have certain words and certain numbers. And it's called numerology, right? And it goes to different interpretations by those who claim to be in what I'm talking about right now. But it's so far away from it because when they got it, it wasn't a straight and narrow. It wasn't off the path that was set down. It was the path that was striving up. So there's no problem with drifting from the path because everybody drifted. And this is why people take the fact that everybody this and that. We don't no more. And all that stuff that people talking about that they can't water the seed, that was the last generation that didn't know nothing. So they did right not to keep bringing in confusion with their false interpretations. But those who took that and said false interpretations, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to fake it until I make it. It's time to stop faking it. You're not going to be penalized right now, right? But your penalization time is here right now. So as you don't stop and you keep continuation, the stop was here. The ramifications of when you don't stop and you keep going and going and going and going, and you don't stop to pay attention to what's going, stop to make change in life, stop to understand the laws. You don't like the laws, change the law by getting inside the law and going to your town hall meetings and going to this, understanding what's going with the vote, what vote represent this, and that. All this, this is the stopping point. When you don't stop and you still do it, and it stopped here, this is the period of grace that you're in. And then it gets to a time when this part here, it starts to get penalized. It starts to get penalized what you do, how many times you did what you did from the point of origin of the stopping of what we call the new, that we crossed over into the new, and we done built this up. Our foundation is straight. People is everywhere looking. We are maintaining with our control of our thoughts. That's why I said, look at me, now look at you. What are you doing? What are you creating? So before we get into this back and forth, right? This is the temperament of what's going on here. I'm going to read this to you, right? We're going to keep it moving. That's the way it is. So we're going to start off with some gold. It's called the Gold Book. So I want you to go tell people, yo, somebody reading the Gold Book. The author is Dr. Malachi York. That's what it says. Malachi York. Okay? And I don't know if people know what the word Malachi means, but if you look at it, we spell it together. You see we got the alphabets here. We're going to go through all this again. I think that I introduced that to you the next time we come around. So, we done did a little good, 47, 48, 50 minutes, and I believe that's enough. You take this, learn this, go get a pen and paper, write it down. If you can, snapshot it, bring it up. You can't, we'll find another way. I'll get it closer to the thing next time. But it's gonna be all right. Take your time, do what you need to do, and let's see. I'll just say Tekosha. Yeah, Tekosha. Yip, Tekosha. Yip, Tekosha.